All right. Hey there, sports fans. Welcome to the WHMP Sports. We've got Julia Beckley here ready to talk about not the Barkley Marathons, the Beckley Marathons. Welcome, Julia.
Hi.
So later this week, you are going to do an event, the Beckley Marathons. Tell us what it is.
So the run quick and easy is 96-hour race event, however you want to call it. Starting Thursday night in Fort Collins and then finishing Monday night in Denver. We have 7 stops throughout the state. I think it's 22 hours of driving total throughout that 96. So it is 96 consecutive hours, but it won't all be running back to back.
So you're going to basically run a marathon in one city, get in the car, go to another city, run a marathon there, get in the car, go to another city, run a marathon there.
Yeah, the only 2 days that it's all in the same city, partially because just being the ability to have community outreach, having a full day there is really important. So Durango and Grand Junction are going to be full days, so potentially double marathons. I Part of what I like about tying this to the crazy of the Barkley Marathons is that people want to finish the Barkley Marathons. That's great. You work really hard to do what you can, but also only 2 people have ever finished it. There's all different variations. So there's time cutoffs for each spot, and we'll see what happens. Weather was looking bad, then good, and then I don't know now. So we'll see what happens.
So you built this up from ground up. So you're basically participating and race directing.
Yeah, because I can't keep things simple, apparently. This started with the race directors of, and I'm gonna forget the race director company, but they own Pistol and they have another race called Ozone. And last year, after Ozone, they were posting pictures oh, that's so cool. And wasn't a chair friendly course and whatnot. So this year, when they went virtual, Stacy reached out to me and said, "Hey, do you want to do the 96-hour or do you want to do one of these? We're going to put language on the website for that." And so I haven't actually registered, so it is expensive. So we'll see if that part actually happens or not. But go a little rogue here. So yeah, so it started with that, and then it became this much bigger goal. We played around with the idea of having an RV and a crew. The out there crazy thing that I've talked a lot about with my friends and such is the World Marathon Challenge. That is 7 marathons, 7 days, 7 continents. And we've been throwing ideas around that for almost 2 years now, maybe only a year, I don't know. And one of the ideas is to be able to test that kind of thing in a closer setting.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously I'm again not good at keeping things simple, so it just kind of snowballed into really cool opportunities to both engage with communities in different cities and celebrate what other communities have done to support adaptive running and adaptive athletes, and to give the chance to go to all those places and run with the people I love. And the really cool part about virtual things are hit or miss, right? But I get to choose my own course when it's a virtual thing. I get to have an accessible, friendly course,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. And before my 100, I did with Pistol virtually 2 years ago. I don't even know at this point. I was like, no, heck no, I would never do a virtual race, 100-mile race. What? 100 marathon maybe. But then I kind of flipped that. I was like, oh, I could turn this into something fun for me. And so we did. And yeah, so now there's 3 core crew who will be there for the Durango and Grand Junction. Some are coming for just one stop, like other people. Those 3 are going to do the driving time. And then we have a photographer who's coming in with my racing chair from Atlanta.
So is this going to be the first experience with the new racing chair?
So I got to test it out, I think 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I went out to Atlanta to do like testing, but like I haven't seen the final color. I haven't seen anything right now. And I think it should be done painting today or tomorrow. But then Krieg, the guy who built it for me, he owns Able Sport, which is one of the like wheelchair athlete companies, and he's a retired, well, not really retired, but he's a Paralympian and has a lot of community influence and does great things. He's the one that like I stayed with, tested the chair, everything. And his son, one of his sons, is actually flying out at the same time my friend photographer is flying out. So they're going to get the chair to the airport and then relay it off, and hopefully the airline gods take good care of it. Because this could end really badly. This could be pretty devastating. But hey, I have a backup racing chair right now, and I have my day chair that I use with the free wheel. So I suspect that I'm going to rotate through what chairs I use.
I was going to ask, just like for, difference in fit, you don't want to chase. The 96 hours is a long time.
Yeah. And it's like, I know I have a good friend who actually in Britain, she just did this kind of like extended path trail type thing. I can't remember, I should. And maybe it wasn't even in Britain, but she didn't finish it, but she did a huge amount of it. So like at least 80, 90 miles plus. And then I have a few other friends that like ultra stuff around the world, but I don't have like anyone in my own backyard that like is a wheelchair athlete so far. There may be more that likes to do this kind of stuff. I do have a friend.
You might get more by doing this. We're up the intro.
I have a few friends who are like starting to see the fun in it, and I'm like, come on. And one who like I think he'll just like jump in and do crazy things himself, I'm sure. So there's lots of like, it's there, but it's not like what you think of when you think of wheelchair racing is not ultra marathons. So
well, ultras are just a different breed in running, whether it's adaptive running or non-adaptive running. It's different.
Yes.
So is anyone going to come out and join you? I know you've got a pacer out there, but do you have any other athletes that are going to come and just join you for a portion of it?
I think on Thursday night, at the start, I don't know that she'll actually be able to run, but one of my friends, I believe, will either bike. She's blind. The two that are going to potentially come here were actually both blind. Brooke and Amelia. And I don't know if Amelia will tandem bike or she'll just be up to support or whatever she's capable of. So there's that. And then Friday morning at Windsor, like local non-adaptive athletes, I think, are coming out. Same with each location. One of my friends, Larry, he is a recumbent, he rides a recumbent trike, and he is crewing essentially the whole thing. And so he'll be out with me, but it's not like specifically like, oh, it's a race in each spot that like there's a true race. We made pacer bibs though with the cities on them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to the footage from actually doing this. It'll be really fun. Are you going to do like are you going to do most like the running in the daytime, or are you going to do like whenever you're done, just hit the next spot?
Right now it's kind of like tentatively planned out of like time chunks at different locations of like, go push for these amount of hours. If you hit 26.2, you're done. Or if you time out, you're done, move on to the next one. Like, which is it's a challenge in itself, right? Like we've seen that with like, I don't know, Sally McRae is like an extreme example of having other events that are happening close that you have to take into account with how you use your body.
Yeah.
And I like Lee and Carmel are also very extreme back-to-back type, and maybe not back-to-back, but very well planned and very well trained and well experienced. I think there's a huge difference between showing up your first 100 and then being like, oh, I could just do 150 or whatever, which, you know, to like being like, okay, I know I can handle this. This is how my body's going to feel. This is okay.
Yeah. So, and with, you know, going 96 hours, that's entirely different from just doing the hundreds as well, because you have to strategize your sleep. So you mentioned like talking about maybe having an RV, and do you have like your sleep strategy planned?
I don't have it as planned as I thought or should at this point, but definitely have to sleep at least 4 hours in each 24-hour chunk, if not more. When I did the 100 that I did virtually, the setup was like wasn't super trained for it. I didn't have tons of experience for it. So it was, I think we said like 8 to 8 was off. So 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. On this one, it's kind of dynamic because we're starting at like 6 or 7 o'clock. There we go. Yeah. 6 or 7 o'clock on Thursday night. So the cutoff for that one, I think I'm putting at like midnight, 12:30. But again, weather is an interesting dynamic here because, you know, I think something that we see like in other ultra runners is how you cope with the temperature, and when the temperature changes mid and all those things. And I've struggled in the past with like around 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. temperature stuff. Like I just get chills and other things. So it's been a lot of working on that. But sleep wise, it'll be hard because I definitely am the person, and I did this and it was a huge mistake at Jackpot years ago. I like was like, oh, I feel so great, I'm just gonna keep running. And it was like, I definitely did not belong running out there at a certain point, and that ended. So well, it's like, oh, I want to experience like this great big push. It's very much so being realistic and being not just realistic, but very radical acceptance on, hey, this is my body. This is what I can expect from it. And I have to like really, really, really be responsible with it.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I think beginning ultra running for me was something that I didn't do as much. I got myself into some hot spots, and I mean, that's also normal ultra runners. I think like most people who do their first 100, if they don't have experience crewing, I think, or pacing, don't quite have like the full grasp on what it's gonna be.
Well, the sleep strategy is like a whole other factor of pacing, because even at the 100-mile distance, you see a lot of the athletes don't sleep at all in 100. Or Lee will occasionally run a 100 where she'll take like a 5-minute cat nap in the middle of the trail. But when you're going that longer distance, you're not going to just stay awake the whole time. You have to like plan that sleeping. So are you going to be sleeping like in a van, or you've got friends with letting you crash? Or
we are doing 2 hotel nights, and then one at a friend's. Larry's gonna host one night. Thursday night I haven't figured out because I was potentially gonna stay with my family up there. I don't think that's gonna work. So I haven't figured out Thursday night, which is probably the one that should be figured out by now, but it'll be real beds, and then I'll sleep in the car too, because like I finished Friday night in the Springs around midnight, and we're up at 4 a.m. to drive to Durango, and so I am hoping that I get some really good rest in there.
Yeah, awesome. So wait, there was something else I wanted to know about. We talked about. Oh, how did you scout out these routes?
I laugh because I just got off the phone with someone from Durango. So really, really, like the only way this happens is because of like, it's a team. It is a full-on team helping set this up. So I like to say there's like site directors essentially. And it ranges in like how much they're putting into it, which is fine. Some it's like they're in charge of organizing like the kickoff side of things of like the routes. We've discussed the Fort Collins route. Run Windsor, it's a really cool organization. Like last week was like, yeah, we'll set up your route for Windsor, which is about 45 minutes, 30 minutes south of Fort Collins. Colorado Springs is Larry's kind of territory, so we scoped that out yesterday, drove down for that. Durango is the one I just got off the phone with, and it's I should know the different names of them, but one of the adaptive organizations that does a lot of adaptive mountain biking and more on the cycle side too. And they're building a very accessible like bike park path stuff going on, long-term projects. And Mesa Foundation, they're right now kind of have suggested what routes are good during the day and then what would be good to transition to at night.
Right.
I would love to have that perfectly down, but that's not the way ultras go. And it's, you know, it's the Barkley Marathons again. It's not upset.
You'll find your way when you're out there. You're just checking, be like, how many miles have I gone? Well, I guess that was the route.
Yeah.
You're trying to do like a lot of mixed use paths and sidewalks, or
I'm trying to avoid dirt path type stuff. Mainly because when I did 100K last spring and I put a lot of that in there, it just like was a time suck.
Yeah.
But this is about like having fun too. So like in the springs, I think we have a few different spots we're going, and before dark and then dark we have like one spot.
So I imagine like dirt paths would be like a maintenance issue with the racing chair as well.
Yeah, it really doesn't. I mean, I have on the racing chair I have in my car right now, I have what are called Victoria tires on them. So it's not like they're pretty durable, but they're not gator skins. And depending on I guess the chair, I don't know. Yeah, the wheels are a unique situation. And then also just like the equipment, making sure it doesn't get damaged. But and my old racing chair, that was less of a concern because it was a very like, I don't know, not bulky, like sturdy program level chair that was supposed to go to other people after I was done, but oh well. So
yeah, for anyone watching who doesn't know the story behind Julia's racing chair, you had a racing chair actually stolen, which seems kind of crazy because I don't imagine there being like a huge fencing market for racing wheelchairs. Like you think you know the people in the community who would actually be able to use the chair locally.
Yeah, I think they didn't know what they were stealing. They took my old set of wheels from when I was hit by a car, and not the brand new ones. So there's that. But like, I can't imagine it's getting any use whatsoever. And so it's like, I don't know, it's like it's frustrating because it's probably a dumpster somewhere.
Well, you've got a new chair now.
I do. It's been on Wednesday.
And plans to really go hard in breaking it in.
Yes. 100% going to pay for that life choice somehow. But that's okay.
So what are your nutrition plans? That's the other item I had on the list that I got to hear about. Like, what are you going to be eating?
Okay, so
Taco Bell mostly, I imagine.
What did you say?
Taco Bell.
Oh yeah, that too. Unfortunately, the Denver Taco Bell is not an accessible course. Did not partake this year, but I did crew one of the guys that's on my crew. I crewed him through his first Taco Bell 50K, and it's his first marathon or ultra that's his own. So there you go. But I started working with Tailend, I don't know, like maybe it's been 3 weeks now or whatever, 2 weeks. So they sent me a bunch of the endurance fuels that I asked for. and the recovery fuels. And I have found that there's certain flavors that I really like. I mix flavors, I do different things. That won't be like my only nutrition. I know it's advertised as like this is really all you need, and I have friends who that's all they use. But I like to vary up liquid calories, real edible food stuff. So Tailwind's one. I use like some of the base performance stuff still, especially like salt. That'll be a big thing, even though it'll be cold. Coca-Cola. I love that, like, I feel like I'm not known, but anytime I show up to a race to volunteer support, like at some point, it becomes like Julia's trick is to put the salt in the Coke from Lee.
I feel like that's all of the women's 100-miler project. It's like our calling card. When I did Cloud Splitter last weekend, the second time coming through the High Knob aid station, the guys were just so entertained by the first time I came through. The second time I came through, they're like, "Oh, it's a salt lady. Like, here's your salt." And I was like, "Thank you." I'm messing with my drop bag now, but I am going to be using that salt. We're the salt and Coke people. It's of course it's a part of the nutrition plan.
It works. It's
a magical elixir.
There's a new bar company called Fun Bars. It's PHUN, and they have, I think it's 2-ounce bars that I really like, that have 300 calories. So those will be on there, and then the some honey stinger stuff like gels, etc. So variety of like the endurance sports nutrition stuff, like we all know that doesn't get you through 96 hours. Unless I have some people that I've seen that like crush it with goose, but I'm like, dude, I have no, can't do that. So real food, PB&Js will be in there. Bagels, big fan of bagels. I know that when I have no longer want to taste anything at all, there's like a couple of vegan protein shakes that are easy to throw down. And then let's see, what other ones are there? I'm sure there will be an IHOP rendezvous at some point from the crew. Waffles, maybe. Waffles is a company that like they make really good beige waffles, but I don't know if I'll have them or not. Yeah, it's just kind of all over the board. I've tested a lot over the years, so I kind of know like, oh, okay, this is gonna work. And then my overall goal though is 300 to 450 in calories an hour. Especially knowing that like a lot of my time's also going to be sleeping too. It's balancing that. And for me, that seemed to be a really great strategy when I did my 100K last year. And I finished really strong with it. I'm testing out products for different companies that like are not disclosed currently. So that's kind of fun and exciting, although I don't think I'm going to use them.
Yeah, I don't think your 96-hour endurance event is the right time to test stuff, but who knows? 80 hours in, you might be in. You know what? All my tried and true stuff isn't working.
You never know.
Time to bring on something new.
We'll see, but I've definitely learned a lot about nutrition and getting calories in. And if someone said, I think I want to run an ultra marathon, like my first thing I would tell them is go crew, go volunteer, go be a part of a race day, go feel how exhausting it is, even just as crew. That's the more exhausting part to me. Go experience that, see people at their lows and how they like do and stuff. Now, I don't think any ultra runners really like, oh, I'm going to go crew before I do this. There's some that build up to things. I know, like, don't go 0 to 100, but you just learn so much in your first ultras. Like there's no way to have that knowledge about your body and what you need and how it's going to feel until you've been there, which can be hard. You can put yourself in some trouble spots.
So is your previous longest event was your 100, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is going to be your new distance PR.
Hopefully. Yep.
Hopefully. After all things going well. Yep. New distance PR. So this is very exciting. And How do people follow along when you're doing this? So you are starting this on Thursday, October 26th.
Yeah, so we're starting it in Fort Collins on the 26th. There's different ways to like find out like where we're at, so you can come and run with us if you choose to, or bring really nice hot food. But we're gonna have a Facebook live stream. I don't know like how, like where, how, what, when, where it'll be like on. But that was like, that's a Facebook event part of it. And then
And so that's a Facebook event that's noted for October 26th to October 30th. And the Facebook event's called, it's not the Barkley Marathons, it's the Beckley Marathons.
Yep. And then my Instagram, which I'll send you, is like Artisaurus, ARTISAUROUS, I think. I don't know. But that one's open for followers. So like the privacy settings are off so people can follow that way.
I will put a link to that in the description in the YouTube video.
I'm sure we'll upload the runs on Strava too. So it's Julia Gulia is my Strava name. I think it's all one word, or maybe it's two, but it's just like whatever the wedding singer that came from.
Awesome. So we're gonna join you on Facebook for the Facebook Lives. We'll be watching on Instagram, and we'll keep an eye out on Strava as well as those marathons are rolling in.
And we'll try and get at least one of my crew to connect with you throughout.
Cool. Awesome. So I'm looking forward to the updates. It's going to be super fun to watch. And good luck and have a great time.
Thank you, Amy.
All right. We'll talk to you later. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how this goes for you. Thanks.